Namaste. Gems from Savitri. When we look at human life on the surface, everything appears quite confusing. We don't know why things happen the way they happen. We don't understand the sudden twists and turns of fate. And sometimes we blame ourselves, sometimes we blame destiny, sometimes we blame God. Always there is somebody to blame. But what is its truth? What is the secret? Now, of course, according to ancient tradition, there is a very beautiful, life has to go through a series of experiences to evolve. And this evolutionary journey, the path opens through our thoughts, feelings, action. We choose which path, but it will reach that goal. That is decided. Nobody can come in the way. But we can choose this way, this way, this way, all. Freedom is given to the human soul. And there is a beauty in that. But the mind, life, and body ignorantly believe they have the freedom. The freedom is only to the soul. And if it is very small, then obviously it is driven by ignorance, and there is only a semblance of freedom of choice, but no true freedom. The closer we get to the soul, the more we tend to choose freely. So, what happens is we have advanced along a certain line and we leave our body. So, there are many half finished energies, formations, curves of destiny which cannot be completed in one lifetime. So they remain, they become what is called as Sanchit Karma. I'm talking about the traditional this thing. So now next life, you have that store, it is given to you. It's a bit picturizing way, figurative way. So out of that Sanchit Karma, you are told take your stock and go further. We have to move further. It's not about reward, punishment, etc. Now we cannot take all of them. So we take some. So that is something we take from the past, and then there is something we do. So what we do becomes prarabdh. That is how destiny will be decided. Then there is sanchit karma. Then there are some karmas which have to be resolved at some point of time, and they are called utkat karma. So we pick out of that vast store little bit because we can't handle. Now imagine that if life goes on fast forward track, it has to exhaust many karmas which will come, and it's not about exhausting them only, it's about releasing them, it's about leading them to their culmination. By exhaustion, there is a very beautiful essay of Sri Aurobindo on the process of evolution, and it just like a illness, or like anything. So the process of evolution he describes, there is a tendency which is there in nature. Now this tendency is to go through a process. Now this process, it will come up, and first thing you have to apply is, first it will come up in all its force. Then you have to apply the process of sanyama, not nigraha. He says that. If you try to suppress it, will come again with redoubled force. That's why sannyas fails, unless you want to withdraw from life. So by sanyama, it will become regulated. Then it will become weak, and when it becomes weak, you will break it. Or else, if there is a potential in it of transformation, it will be transformed. So this is the process of evolution. But where is the key to all this? All this is theoretically very fine. But is there some part in us, if we can access, we can find that master key? So we read today a passage. It's about the beautiful passage from Secret Knowledge. It's about the human soul, the soul within us, which alone holds the key. Nobody else, no soothsayer, no astrologer, no Ponga Pandit, Yatuta Pandit can tell us. They can tell little bit of prediction. Now, these predictions have a problem. These predictions are based on many times about certain formations of thought in the head which are going on. So based on that, there is a prediction like, supposing you are thinking, I want to be a rich man. And there are people who can read your thought. Little bit. So he'll predict after 20 years you'll be a rich man. Possible. But equally, it may crash land. So many of these predictions are based on that. So that's a different thing. Even when you hold the hand or see a, Janam Patri, I'm not saying it has no merit at all. It has some merit. But a lot is based on an intuitive perception of what's going on inside the person. I know people who have been mind readers, and it's not very difficult to be a mind reader. There's nothing spiritual about it. Once Swami Vivekananda, he was asked, how do you read the mind? He said, you can learn in 3 days. No big deal about it. So, But the real person who is the not only the mind reader, life reader, the guide, who has the GPS, who knows what's happened, who knows what is going to happen, and the curve and direction and everything of destiny, who understands it in the true sense. Mind, life, and body don't understand it. So that is the soul within, and we'll read a beautiful passage on that. Page 48. He speaks about the murmuring tongue of a celestial fire. Often this soul is visualized as the fire. It's the divine energy within, and it holds the soul within itself. It follows the line of sempiternal birth, yet seems to perish with its mortal frame. It looks like it has died, but it is the one which is following, keeping track, account of the past and the future. Assured of the apocalypse to be. If ever life seems very uncertain, then try to find this. That's where you have the assurance of the apocalypse. Apocalypse is the grand revelation for which life is preparing itself, the revelation of the divine. So, this part is assured. Whatever may be happening in life, this part is assured. It reckons not the moments and the hours. Our outer surface consciousness reckons the moments and the hours. Are this happened? What is this? This is happening, that is happening. But this doesn't look, the Dehi, the soul within man, does not look at it like that. How does it look? Great, patient, calm. It sees the centuries pass. Just imagine. That is its vision. It sees the centuries pass. Just look at this line, how liberating this is. Awaiting the slow miracle of a change. It knows that the butterfly will emerge out of the caterpillar, and if it is being pressed hard in the cocoon, it is only so that men die, that man may live and God be born. So it is only for that purpose. In the sure, deliberate process of world force and the long march of all revealing time. Repeatedly, Sri Aurobindo reminds us, gives us hope that behind all the anomalies of life, there is a guiding hand of grace. It is not with some people and not with others. It is there in the first seed of life. It is there in the first atom of existence. So it is there. The final script of everything is there, even as it differentiates. Just as you see that, from the tree, many branches, and from that little bit sub branches, twigs, leaves, everything, the seed contains all of it within itself. Similarly, when creation started, all the million sparks that scattered like from one great fire, their entire destiny, their script, eventually what is going to come out of them is held within the seed. And it will manifest. It is the origin and the master clue. So if you really want to find the answer, it is that. It is the origin and the master clue is silence overhead and inner voice. So often we'll see, like in Rig Veda, the soul in man as well as the divine presence. They are so closely, the Jivatma and the Paramatma, the divine, immanent divine within. They are just close to each other, intertwined, always in the lab. A living image seated in the heart. An unwalled wideness and a fathomless point. Look at the beauty of this description. On one side, you will see it as a bindu or as a spark. But this spark, if you enter, there is no end, because it will take you to the ultimate source. So it is like that, fathomless point. And on the other hand, unwalled wideness. It is through that door that we can enter into the universal consciousness. Any other door, if we try to enter, it will be mistaken. If we enter through the mind into the cosmic consciousness, it will be full of all kinds of mixed experiences. All kinds of things which are half intuitions. Through the life part, if we enter, then there will be total chaos and confusion. But when we enter into the universal consciousness through the psychic door, then we enter it right. The truth of all these cryptic shows in space. Cryptic shows means all the scenes and drama of our life, which we don't understand. So we are often like, imagine a big movie is going on. The only movie last time was Mera Naam Joker, 4 hours movie. That was big movie, and somebody suddenly entered in between. That movie is a good example, whatever it is. So many people change through all this. There is one hero. He is actually the Joker, and Joker is what? Joker can be applied anywhere. You can use the Joker as ace, you can use the Joker as number two, anything. So there is, enter into the hall suddenly, you will see you won't understand anything. Otherwise, there are movies, if you see the last scene, you understand the whole movie. Do char dialogue, and you know who is the hero, who is the villain, what must have happened. Whole thing is there in last 10-15 minutes. But here, if you enter in the middle, you don't understand. It's a cryptic show. But there is somebody who holds the thread to this show. The real towards which our strivings move. We are always striving for something which we can hold on to. But everything comes, and as somebody has said very beautifully, दुनिया है पानी, पानी पे लिखी लिखाई. सबने देखी, सबने जानी, हाथ किसी के ना आई. वहाँ कौन है तेरा, मुसाफिर जाएगा कहाँ. So it's like you see the water, very nice. This is the reality of the water. You understand the water, but the moment you try to grip it, it vanishes. Similarly, the sunshine. You can bask in it. The moment you try to grip it, it vanishes. You have the air. It's wonderful. The moment you try to grip it, it vanishes. See, life teaches us such wonderful lesson. And fire, of course, don't try to grip it. then the fire will not vanish. Likely, you will vanish. Same with earth. See, the elements are giving us a lesson. They are meant for everything, is meant for everybody. Communism ka original divine communism. Everything is meant for everybody. You try to grasp it and you are gone. Even if you hold mud, after some time, it will just slip. How much can you hold? Just few grains. So all these things, space, can you hold space? No. So the elements, the way creation has been constituted is like this. So the real towards which our strivings move, the secret, grandiose meaning of our lives. There is a grand meaning of a life. But it's secret. When we look at the surface, it's sukh dukkha mela. Kabhi khushi, kabhi gam. This is not what life is meant for. There is something else which is revealing itself. It's grand. And then he describes a treasure of honey in the combs of God. So often this psychic in man is described as the hansa, the swan, which can drink milk out of and leave water. Now, why this analogy? Olden time also did they mix milk and water? Well, life is about that. Milk is knowledge, and water is samam brahmam. Everything mixed. Water is what? Anything you mix with water, it takes the taste. So milk is the knowledge which is hidden behind every experience. Now Sri Aurobindo has upgraded that. He speaks of honey. So honey is what? You see, from all the flowers, beauty, everything is there. But the essence of a flower is extracted by the honeybee. And it goes through a process of digestion and assimilation. If people know what honey is made up of, they will think twice. The honeybee actually takes it inside, then digests and assimilates it and brings it out. That's what is the honey. So it is something very beautiful, but very tasty and very healthy, gunkari. So this honey is the essence of all experiences. In one sentence, Sri Aurobindo describes what is divine life. To turn all things to honey is the essence of divine life. All experiences turned to honey means let it be absorbed by the soul, and then let it, after it, little process of assimilation. And when we look back upon life, we see that even things which disturbed us so much eventually turned to be honey. That's why honey is natural immunity. So after you have gone through, then you are immune. It's for a splendor burning in a tenebrous cloak. Tenebrous cloak is the body. You can't see it, but there is a splendor burning there. It is hidden by a dark, obscure robe. It is our glory of the flame of God. The flame of God is the soul within the psychic being. It is our glory. What is our glory? Not that I have studied so much, I can debate, discuss, I am a big man, wealth. None of this. This is mortal poverty. If there is anything which is worthy of glory, it is the psychic being, the soul in man. It is our glory of the flame of God, our golden fountain of the world's delight. That which we are seeking here, there, everywhere. How beautifully Sri Aurobindo says, when he speaks of the Divine Mother, O bliss, whoever dwellest deep hid within, while men seek the outside and never find. So this is the fountain of delight. An immortality cowled in the cape of death. Cape is the hooded mask. So, but see, it's so beautiful. What does death teach us? Now, normally we get this lesson that what does death teach us? That body will go away. सब साथ छोड़ जाते हैं. सांस भी सांस नहीं, सांस. Even the breath leaves you. Heartbeat leaves you. It's often said, no, अपना शरीर भी अपना नहीं रहता, दूसरे की क्या बात है. So this is one lesson that death teaches, but there is another lesson more important. That Vayuranil amritam achedam bhasmantam shariram. Om kritosmar kritam smar. There is something death cannot leave, cannot touch. Vayuranil amritam achedam bhasmantam shariram. The breath of life, the breath of Godhead in this mud and mire is a thing eternal, immortal. The fire within, that aspiration, it cannot touch. So the death comes cowled, but what is it? Immortality within which it releases. And that's what we are. The shape of our unborn divinity. All of us are gods. So the problem is that then, but this God is in the seed form. His God is deep within. To express and manifest Him is our business. And that's what is happening through lives. This is what is happening. It is what is going to be. But just to know that we are all God is not enough. To bring Him out, to come in touch with Him, to express and manifest in life, mind and body. So he uses the word, the shape of our unborn divinity. It guards for us our fate in depths within. Mauka do, he says, I'll take you. Through this twist, through that turn, it guards. Look at it. It guards for us our fate in depths within, where sleeps the eternal seed of transient things. So it is the original author of the script right. We often blame this or that or forces and people. But this is the original author. Ultimately, all these forces, scenes are incidents, or they are like, they will give suggestion, prompters. Ye likh do na, why don't you write it? But this is the real script right. He will take all the suggestions, then he will write. So that's why Sri Aurobindo says there is a freedom in every phase of fate. The soul within is always the master of his fate. Always we bear in us a magic key, concealed in life's hermetic envelope. And this is what Mother always reminds us, that you have the key. You need not be a prisoner, but we don't take care to open the door. When the time comes and we are told, oh, you have to open the door. Oh, yes, somewhere we had read it. Where is the key? Where is the key? Because we have never used it. Even if we find the key, we cannot. So by concentrating in the heart, the key is given to us, we can open a door within. A burning witness in the sanctuary. Why witness? It knows everything. Nobody else knows all the things that is happening. Even the human being doesn't know. But this fellow is the witness. So he is the witness who knows, regards through time and the blind walls of form. A timeless light is in his hidden eyes. He sees the secret things no words can speak. Even the slightest quiver, motive, everything. The play of force, it knows which way it is going. And knows the goal of the unconscious world and the heart of the mystery of the journeying years. And 3 lines we'll read, then stop. But we don't know this. So Sri Aurobindo says, yes, you don't know this. So he says, but all is screened, subliminal, mystical. So how to know it? 2 lines he summarizes. It needs the intuitive heart. Awaken the intuition. The inward turn. It needs the power of a spiritual gaze. Else to our waking mind, small moments look A goalless voyage seems our dubious course. Some chance has settled or hazarded some will, or a necessity without aim or cause, unwillingly compelled to emerge and be. But here, if we come, we understand the real meaning, the essence of all this cryptic show in space. Namaste.